Wow, what a headline. Like, if you were on the fence about getting HBO Max before, although why, it's pretty much the cost of HBO, on its own, not through a cable provider, but who has cable anymore, right? But anyway, I don't think you're on the fence anymore. There's a little bit of a bad angle to this, though, because it seems like this is amazing news, and it is. But these shows are so strong that they do make HBO Max a little bit less reliant on having to seal that Zack Snyder's Justice League deal. As I've told you before, he has some requests to film some additional scenes, punch it up a little bit, which I think, from what I've heard, is a great idea. He has some really cool stuff that he wants to do that would be very exciting. But if that deal isn't closed soon, maybe he might want to shoot less or just get it out there. He might have to not be able to do the additional photography because, the name of the game is getting people to sign up for your service. And I think that these shows are going to go a long way to making HBO Max seem like a sexy and exciting place. And by the way, I had this in my notes for the end, but I'll say it now. I love seeing Warner Brothers embrace that it can do what Disney can't, and that's go dark. And that really makes them the perfect yin and yang for us fans. We get everything. We get the light and the dark. Warner Brothers is really the anti-Disney, and I mean that in a good way. That gives us, they can really only do certain things. They're very much in their roles, but we get everything, and that's just wonderful. All right, so Warner Brothers really wanted J.J. Abrams to call their studio home. Other people wanted him, Apple wanted him, but Warner Brothers, or Warner Media, aka AT&T, dug deep and wrote him a $500 million check. He doesn't get that personally. It's what the deal is worth for him and his company. Just how Benioff and Weiss over from Game of Thrones don't get $200 million, but that's what their deal is worth. And the company, both companies stand to make a significant amount of money, and that, of course, trickles down to their heads a lot. Bad Robot, by the way, is run by J.J. Abrams and his wife, who was responsible for getting Kevin Tsujihara fired. She didn't want to go work at Warner Brothers if he was going to be there. And then, of course, that horrible story broke, and everyone found out what Kevin Tsujihara was doing and how you secure a financing deal at Warner Brothers with him. All right, anyway. So that $500 million today got off to a darn good start. Worth every penny, I'm sure Warner Brothers feels today, and they should, as 3 new shows are moving ahead at HBO Max from Bad Robot. And if done right, I think will give the streaming service a serious edge in the streaming wars. So yes, Hollywood continues to be all about franchises, and we're getting a Shining show, oh my god, and another DC show, as you can see. But we're also getting an original series. We should touch on this. It's the least exciting because it's new. We don't know anything about it. It's an original series set in the 1970s about a crazy getaway driver. Things go from bad to worse. And Abrams came up with this idea himself, and he's developing it with Into the Badlands writer-producer LaToya Morgan. Deadline was like, Walking Dead writer LaToya Morgan. I looked it up. She did 1 episode. But she really was heavily involved in Into the Badlands. And I know a lot of people enjoy that show. It's not at the caliber of The Walking Dead, but maybe Duster, as this is called, will be LaToya Morgan's The Walking Dead. I am happy to see people of color behind the camera succeed, especially female talent. They are really behind, which needs to be fixed. But I have to say, in front of the camera, it would be great if Morgan could pay it forward and have an actor of color in the lead. I think that would help set that show apart. All right, but let's focus on the franchises. We love franchises, which is why Hollywood loves franchises. So let's start, of course, with Justice League Dark. That's the show that's going to be done. And Deadline reported back in January, and I covered it, that Bad Robot was taking meetings with talent for Justice League Dark, behind-the-camera talent, to say, what characters do you like? Do you want to do a movie? Do you want to do a TV show? And we have our answer. They're doing a TV show for HBO. HBO Max. Although I think that's basically now HBO, right? That's just like a division of HBO Max. I'm hearing it's a very expensive one. And of course, that's the hallmark of all streaming shows these days, that they are at the level of movies, but are very long movies. So that makes them better than movies. When they're good, they're really good. Now, details are scarce in the trades as to who's working on this and who's going to be in the show. But I checked with my sources, and I have some information for you. So it's another $100 million budget show, apparently. Where's all this money coming from? I mean, I'd be curious if I guess they can. Although The Mandalorian was done very cleverly behind the scenes to bring the budget, to make them be able to get more bang for their buck. So I hope they have creative people working behind the scenes on this Justice League Dark show. They're like, quick, it's Bad Robot. Everybody watch the behind the scenes documentary on May 4th. All right, so anyway, I'm hearing the lineup, at least for now, is going to be, because, things could change in development, but right now, the lineup is going to be Constantine, of course, Zatanna, of course, Deadman, Jason Blood, a.k.a. Etrigan. I can't believe he made it. And then what seems like an overkill when you already have Etrigan, but they're going to do Swamp Thing, too. Oh, that's a good lineup. That's a very good lineup. And on that note, I'm hearing that Abrams wants all new actors. So unfortunately, that means no one from the DC Universe Swamp Thing show will be brought in, and no Matt Ryan. Sorry, Matt Ryan fans. Now, some people might want Keanu Reeves. I would think he'd be kind of above a television show, but this is a streaming show. And Keanu Reeves, he's John Wick 4, he has Matrix 4, so he's pretty busy. But I think if they wrote him a pretty good enough check, he seems like a pretty good sport, and if it was done well, I could maybe see him doing it. So, we'll see. Because Abrams, I hear, is looking to sign name talent for at least a few roles. And I would think Constantine and Zatanna would be the key players, a male and female lead. Deadman, though, a fan favorite, will be a key casting decision. And with Constantine and Zatanna's dark magic and Etrigan and Swamp Thing, yeah, this show's going to be expensive, really expensive. I'll be interested. It'll have to be, I think, done with prosthetics, too. At least, I would like to see maybe it done with prosthetics. That would make it certainly less expensive. All right, let's focus on The Shining show. I'm so excited. But you have to admire Warner Brothers for doubling down on the franchise after Dr. Sleep was such a box office dud. People liked it who saw it, but nobody saw it. But that sequel made the mistake of spending very little time at the Overlook Hotel, which is why anybody would watch Shining, anything to do with The Shining. But the show is all about the Overlook. In fact, it's called Overlook. It will be a prequel and will feature one-offs that explore what's happened to previous guests at the Overlook through the years. Brilliant! I love it so much. I would greenlight that in a second. But what's not so brilliant, and where I'm a little disappointed, is that Abrams is apparently giving this to his Castle Rock team. The deal isn't apparently closed, according to the trades, and I would do everything in my power to stop that deal from happening if I could. I mean, I loved Castle Rock when it started, but it quickly went off the rails and never came back. I watched the whole first season, but I thought it was a very unsatisfying ending, like a lot of Stephen King stuff. And they had a second season, and no one talks about the second season at all. Did anyone here watch the second season? And if you did, how was it? But yeah, that team does not, to me, scream creative confidence. I mean, I don't know. I really have very low confidence. I mean, I feel bad because I did like the beginning of Castle Rock, but oh, please give it to somebody else. I think this show would be hard to mess up, though, because having one-offs allows, remember, you have to, this show is so brilliantly built from a business perspective. I guess that's why I particularly like it. Because one-offs allows for bigger name talent to check in, right? Both behind and in front of the camera. You can have some recurring characters, like the manager and some people who work at the hotel, but you can have, really big, or, at least medium-name directors and actors as leads and doing each episode. It's very cool. Basically, this could be HBO Max's own Twilight Zone or Hollywood Tower Hotel. Oh my God, it's a good idea. I will watch this even if it sucks. I really will. Now, as for Justice League Dark, who are we kidding? I'll watch that too. But this is a lot of team shows, Warner Brothers. Like, wow, I can't imagine keeping them all going. And DC Universe, we feel it's not long for this world. I think the highlights will get moved over to HBO Max. They already said Doom Patrol was getting moved over. I think the Harley Quinn show is a pretty safe bet. But I don't know about Titans. I don't know about Titans. Would you save Titans? I think it had a good run, but I think it's time for it to fade to black. So Warner Brothers, though, feels that this Justice League Dark show and Green Lantern, which they've also announced and they're working on with Greg Berlanti, remember, they could be looped into the DCEU if they're good enough. But, promises, promises. Let's actually see it. Expect Justice League Dark, though, way before Green Lantern, because Abrams and his Bad Robot team are moving very, very fast. Overlook has already assembled a writer's room, so that when this pandemic is over, they'll have their scripts ready to go and can hit the ground running. Personally, I, again, love to see Warner Brothers being the anti-Disney. I just think it's very exciting. I think it's their sweet spot. I think it's what everybody wants to see from them, and it makes me so happy when they do that. So, are you getting HBO Max or what? Share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.